Welcome to the Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 5 recap. The episode is called The Bells, and so much happened, but here are a few highlights. We start with Varys wishing he had a bullhorn, a copier, a group text, MailChimp, a bunch of other shit that has not been invented yet to help him spread the word on Jon's identity. Tyrion watches Varys talk some sense into Ned, John. In fact, Tyrion doesn't know what to do with himself, so he decides to feed himself to a dragon. Dany plays 0 games and drawing lines back to Jon spilling that tea that she told him not to spill, and Grey Worm comes through like the Secret Service to swoop up Varys so he can be on time to his own execution. Grey Worm and Dany pour out a little liquor for Missandei, R.I.P. Missandei, when Jon shows up with his weird-ass auntie vibes. You gonna accept this now or after the pregnancy test, Jon? Like, let us know when you gonna get there. Tyrion scores another F with his reaction to Dany's news of the latest in hostage negotiations and seizes the opportunity to enlist Davos in his bullshit. This man is sure to get all parties murked. Jaime and Tyrion share a heart-to-heart and a final goodbye, and the gate is closed and Jaime gets left out the day party, y'all. Euron sees Dany approaching but doesn't realize that she's about to hit him with some expert level ass kicking. Drogon decides to lay it down like he finally remembered how to use his flames, and they take out the fleet all crazy, eradicates the gold company, straight using all these dudes for charcoal. Dany continues to kill these dudes with pinpoint precision while eliminating the scorpions from the city walls, finally. And Cersei gets caught up in her latest loss as Qyburn tries to convince her that shit is real, like really, really real. But no, she's good. She don't want to go nowhere. Dany parks a dragon and watches the city's defenses surrender, waiting to hear those bells. The bells start ringing like it's Sunday at noon, but Dany's like, fuck this song. I want to put vocals on the track. The sound of the innocent screaming mixtape dropping soon. Soon. Jon and Grey Worm have a moment and shit almost gets extra real for them too. Dany continues to let the fire rain like it's the last day to use her burn a city to ashes coupon or some shit. And Euron pops up just in time to fight Jaime over his sister / baby mom shit. It ain't looking good. Cersei with the tears in her eyes finally agrees that it's time to roll. And Jaime finishes Euron off something proper, and the Hound gives Arya the best advice possible. Cersei almost gets done in by the keep falling to pieces, and the Hound shows up, and now the Mountain goes off script. Mountain kills Qyburn, and then the brothers get it cracking. Jaime finds Cersei just in time to pretend like she didn't put a hit out on him just a couple weeks ago, and Gregor and Sandor continue their rap battle as Arya tries to make her way out of the city. And in the longest fight in the history of fighting, finally the Hound is like, fuck all this, and takes both of them out in a fire, and Jon calls for a retreat while the city is being reduced to ashes. Arya, well, it's looking like she gonna just try and save as many random motherfuckers as she can. Cersei and Jaime gets trapped and she starts talking about her fake baby as the entire castle crumbles on them in this weird romantic sibling poetic justice. And Arya gains consciousness and finds a horse. She's surrounded by nothing but charred remains of damn near everybody, and she rides off, and we can only imagine what she is thinking about doing next. Don't worry, she'll be back to Winterfell in about 7 minutes and we'll find out all about it. Be sure to check out the A Podcast Has No Name Season 8 Episode 5 review and share your thoughts on our Instagram at Podcast Has No Name.
White Walker-perpetuated offenses are considered especially heinous. In Westeros, 4 dedicated friends investigate and discuss these vicious episodes as members of an elite squad known as A Podcast Has No Name.
I'm Afro.
I'm Ambush.
I'm Castro.
I'm Lord.
And this is A Podcast Has No Name.
That was awesome.
And then that's when Castro is supposed to do his song, and then he doesn't do it, and then he usually starts right about now when someone else is, oh, okay, no song tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Cassius was singing a little something. I don't know if y'all picked
He
that
did
up.
give us
Yeah, I
a
did.
good tune.
I thought he said I'm Cash. I was loving that. This is awesome.
Boom, 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 boom. I lost the melody. Boom, 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 boom. Relax yourself, girls. Preset plan. Relax yourself, Ann. Preset plan. Relax yourself, no. Preset plan. Relax yourself, man. Preset plan.
Wait,
Like
is
them
that
brown,
what they
yellow, Puerto
say?
Rican, and
Preset
Haitian.
plans? What is that?
Yeah.
That's what exactly they say.
Preset
That's
plan.
what they say. That's the mystery. That is the mystery. What did you
Everyone
think
else
they say?
knows it?
No, there's like 4 different variations of what people think
Wait,
they said.
okay. When I say everyone else, I mean like not you.
On this call.
Yes.
I didn't
Yeah.
finish my song, so the interruptions have not begun yet. I'm still in the front of the stage. Spotlight on
The
moi.
interruption tells us when
Oh
the
my God.
again.
I left
This
my
is-
throne up in King's Landing. Left my throne up in King's Landing. Left my throne up in King's Landing. I got to get it. Got to get it. Left my throne up in the Red Keep. Left my throne up in the Red Keep. Left my throne up in the Red Keep. Dany gets it. She got to get it.
All right.
All right. So, last night was another crazy episode of Game of Thrones. There's so much controversy amongst the 4 of us. Who
Yeah.
likes it? Who hates it? Who loved it? Who's meh?
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about all of it. We're going to jump right into it. Let's talk about the overall thoughts, reactions, like how, you know, it's funny, how everyone was feeling in general. Let's hit it. Morris, let's start with you. What was your overall reaction to the show last night?
My overall reaction was, what the fuck did I just watch? What was it that I just watched? That was my reaction. That's what I have.
Okay. You sent us an image. Can you describe that image? Everyone's doing these, well, not everyone, but some people who are like, you know, more evolved are doing these like image descriptions on Instagram, which like is a written description of what you're seeing for people who are visually impaired who scroll Instagram. So if you had to give us the image description, Morgan, of that image you sent us earlier and tell us how it pertains to Game of Thrones, could you just do that real quick?
I'll do my best. It says GOT, a summary. And there's about a third of a horse drawn that is detailed. It looks lifelike. It looks like someone knows how to draw horses. Tail looks like it moves. And
See
it
the
starts
muscles of the
to,
horse
you can, yes, just
definition.
so fit,
So detailed.
Mhm.
a definition.
Is it
And
detailed,
we
the
start
bullshit in the
to-
argument? Is that in detail? The bullshit in
I
the argument?
can't hear you when you're interrupting me. So then as it gradually moves into the body, we get a gradual change of, oh, this is clearly not the same horse it used to be. The new artist, maybe a different render, and it ends up becoming a cow cat.
Drawn by like a child.
Yeah, it's a cow cat.
With
It
possibly
started
hair.
as a horse, probably like a Dothraki horse, and then it ended as a cow cat at the end.
With a wig.
Because a
With
cow
the-
cat with a wig.
With the wig.
We'll be sure to post this on our Instagram.
Oh my God.
No, we will not, because I would like to say that a meme is also a rationalization in picture form, done hastily in most cases.
What?
Thanks for the
What?
definition.
Oh, I mean, you don't like this meme, all right? But there are other memes. Are you like anti-meme now? Is that what you're saying?
Right.
When it's
Like
against
this
this episode, I'm against all
this-
memes created against this episode.
Said
I'm
this
defending this
meme on
episode.
its own is one of the funniest things ever.
I couldn't
It's
stop
like the
looking at it.
Yeah.
I couldn't
The
stop
fact that
looking
you're
at it.
defensive about it is wild to me. Like, you are so defensive for the show that you can't laugh at one little thing. Like, this shit's hilarious to
It
me.
is so funny. I can't wait
But
for
I
you guys
love
to
the
see
show,
it.
Castro. We've made a podcast about it.
It should almost be an alternate cover. It's so good. It's hilarious. Oh my God.
Who's next in the queue? F? Who's next in the queue?
You.
Yeah, Castro, tell us your overall feelings on the episode.
Thank you. I was in shock and awe of this episode.
He's a mess.
You're welcome.
I'm giving all my answers tonight like I'm on Larry King. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for having me.
I'm always I'm adjusting my tie all the time.
Thank
You don't know
you for
what I'm
having
doing
me.
under the desk because it's kind of high desk. You don't know what they're doing. They're not wearing pants. They could be wearing clogs. You don't know what's going on. Kilts, eating chicken wings. But I was in shock and awe of the episode, right? In the sense that then I marveled at the technological feat that it was. Most of the episode, I had my mouth open. Then I watched the behind the scenes, so I was influenced by that, just how they carried this out, because this is like a technological feat. Then I thought about it some more, and then I was even more impressed. Chickens coming on the roost. So I enjoyed the episode very much, though.
I personally intentionally did not watch the behind the scenes because I felt it swayed me last week. It swayed me emotionally, where I didn't like the episode that much, or the things I didn't like. And then once I watched the behind the scenes, I was like, oh, well, okay, I get that. And that makes a little more sense. Wow, they really had to like put glass on top of those things to burn it. And it made me like start caring about things that like I didn't fucking care about before. So,
At the end of the month, they're doing a 2-hour behind the scenes of this whole season. How they made
Yeah,
it. 2-hour documentary.
I'm aware, and we're gonna do an episode about it too, right?
Right.
We'll do a recap.
But no, I can agree with you. That definitely I watched it because the spectacle of it that did influence me a bit.
Right.
I just want to defend this. It did. I can admit to that.
Okay, cool. Am.
I just think it's funny how.
Wow.
No, honestly,
Wow.
I feel.
That feels it.
In summation, yes.
Wow.
I feel like they treated us like we were the first family, and now they got a new family that they spend all their time with. And
like they got married? Or
yeah, like we're the
got
old, yeah, like we're the
adopted?
first set of kids, and then they got married, and then started having new kids, and then like they come and chill with us on the weekends sometimes, but then we don't really get to see
We
them
help-
like that. But
We helped OJ get away.
and then
from
some,
murder.
yeah, and then sometimes they ask us to babysit, and it's like, dang, I only get to see you, but you gonna make me watch the kids? That's crazy. So we're helping like new people, gain an understanding of this world, only for them to not give a fuck about this world anymore. That's how I felt about this episode. Yeah.
I mean,
What-
can
what-
you give a concrete example of that? Like, not necessarily an example from the show, but like, you made this distinction a couple times, like in our text thread.
Mhm.
You're like, yo, they're doing like what do you call it? Fan play?
Service.
Fan?
Fan service. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yes, fan service. Thank you.
Mhm.
And like, how do you come up with that? Like, what's that equation like to you in your head?
All right, so they're definitely doing fan service. I think they've made a choice though to dedicate this season to the new fans. There are things that we went through watching this whole thing play out. The pauses in between seasons had us doing research, had us learning so much more about these worlds. And then when they would come back into that new season, they would pay service to us by giving us things we'd already researched based on having that gap. Right now, the way they're dropping all this shit, it's like whatever precedences they put in place, none of that shit matters. The payoffs, all of the payoffs, every single one of the payoffs this season have been cheap. They've been cheap. Like the way Varys went out compared to Littlefinger, incomparable. But they're both very significant characters.
Like when you say fan service again, like so you're saying that they're giving new fans what they want. What do those new fans want? What are those check boxes that are checking off?
The new fans want hype. I feel like at this point, the creators and directors are so high off of their own hype around this show. Like everyone knows there was a time when it was, what's better, this or Walking Dead. We're past that point now. It's understood this is everyone's most favorite show in existence ever. So now they're at that point, like we just want to give them blockbuster shit. But what they're in one way as they're delivering these huge fight scenes and they're trying to break records in one direction. When it comes to the actual content of the show, like what this world is about and the way these characters play out, they're knocking their knees out from underneath them. It's like what are you doing, bro? Like,
in one season, you think they're undoing it? You think they're Matrix reloading this thing?
Definitely. I mean, here's the thing: they already had us sold that. Okay, look, we're only going to give you 6 episodes. We swallowed that pill.
Wait.
Give me a
Can I
sec. Give me a
pause
sec.
something?
Give me a sec.
I
We
just have to
swallowed
pause
that
it one
pill and waited these close to 2 years for it. We're going to give you super
Mm-hmm.
long episodes. Okay, all right, cool. Each episode's like a movie. Okay, great. But then they watered the shit down. Like this stuff, some of these things that are playing out are literally happening like they're a network TV show. Like this is some TBS
Yes,
shit.
but that's the thing. What if it was done like we're going to give you this many episodes to finish up this story? And it was done like on a production thing. This much money, you can spend this much on each episode, but this is how many episodes you have. And so they just put it up on the board like, well, how are we going to get from this to this? We have this many episodes. So if they slice it down like that, I think maybe it came down to economics.
All right, so
yes, but
let's look at it like that.
Delusional,
Let's look at it like that real quick.
We're going to get into
let's look at it like that real quick. If this was an issue of money and economics and all of that, then why spend the money in the way where you give us longer episodes when you can give us episodes of the same length that you've been giving us before and give us a longer season? There are decisions that they're making.
Because I think we're past. What if we're just going, shit or get off the pot? Like we're past drawing it out. We love that stuff. Like all right. All right. Let's keep going.
So that's how I feel. Last night's episode, just brought it all home for me, and I never expected to be this disappointed. Really, I never really expected to be this disappointed. Especially with the last episode being my favorite episode of the season.
We are seeing things she saw in the prophecy. Oh my God, let's keep going.
Yes, let's. I just think it's funny.
Okay. I guess the last thing I'll say on that, is you just referenced the length of the show, but even if the show was the standard amount of time, the story that they have written would be the same. So you're not talking about the length of the episode as much as you're talking about the writing and the way things are playing out, right?
Definitely, yeah. That was just me going in reference to Castro saying they had a limit on the amount of episodes. Maybe they were restricted, with that whole time.
Okay.
I just think there's another way they could have edited this and played with the time. If it was the issue of drawing the story out, or just, I just think there's different payoffs. There's just completely different payoffs that we were supposed to get, and we just didn't get them. Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't attribute that to only having 6 episodes. I think they could have done this right within 6 episodes.
Yeah. Well, I'll say I think that when you mentioned the duration of the episodes and you said something about a movie, and that made me that was like a click for me. Like, wow, like each episode is like the length of a movie, and I definitely don't feel like I'm getting like. They could write a movie for each episode, and I don't feel like that's happening. So I do.
Right.
Yeah, I feel you on that. But I don't know. Did I say how I felt already?
No.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm somewhere in the middle. I feel like I'm leaning closer to the dislike the episode and the way things are kind of playing out in general. I do have a lot of questions though. Like, I wonder if if the circumstances were different, if Dany hadn't been portrayed in so many ways. Betrayed in so many ways. If things would have played out a little bit differently. And I feel like they were trying to build us up to this, oh, she's a mad queen, she's a mad person, she's crazy, which we already talked about. They always do that with women anyway. But if she didn't feel alone right now, if she had Jorah, if she had Missandei, if she had not felt betrayed by John, because I won't go on into that, but so I wonder if she would have approached things, a little bit differently, and not ended up playing into that mad queen, mad person, mad Targaryen narrative or whatever. But I'm not happy with the pace. I feel like it's, I'm not happy with a lot of it. I do feel like I'm not getting the payoff that I want, but you getting some sort of epicness, and I feel you what you say, on some of the way things are playing out is very network television-y, and I think that's really hitting it on the nose. It's not like that beautiful, like, intertwined sort of
Right.
surprise kind of writing that we were used to in those first few seasons. And I don't know that, I don't know about the fan service part, but I do feel like, it feels rushed. It feels different. It feels like the image that Morgan sent us.
Like there's no room in season 8 for a character like Lady Olenna. Some of the things that you guys were picking out in the earlier episodes, like Morgan was like the flight. I didn't need the Aladdin flying through the air. I love, like some of the Disney stuff. Like these are things. These aren't anomalies, guys. Like every single time we do an episode, we do a critique of this season.
Let me ask you a specific one.
We're pulling out things that are saying, we're pulling out things that for us are identifiers that this is beneath what we're used to. So it's a reoccurring thing over and over, specifically for this season though. There wasn't
so
this
like
much,
the cave walk scene, the cave walk scene, because there was no payoff with the cave paintings. You thought that was a waste. They could use that scene more.
Think about it. There's been absolutely no payoff with any of that. Like they showed us those paintings in the cave to show us that the White Walkers have been using this specific design that may be a spell or something. Absolutely. Why even show it?
Now
to
wait,
us?
but wait.
Like why
but wait.
show
Let
it
me
to
ask
us?
everybody. Let me ask everybody on the pod because we've had these recent things as we're going to discuss tonight. Does anybody know what's going to happen next episode? Truthfully, honestly,
we'll get to it. We'll
but I think that this has left us in like this is what George Martin does to us. Just when we think everything's going to be something, it's not. And sometimes
it just feels like the problem with it is, Castro, that there have been things that if all of these things threads to pull that had us going were just red herrings the whole entire time.
Right.
That's not fucking cool writing. That's just like too many stories.
But they did
that
tie
don't
up a
have
lot
an
of
end.
stuff, didn't they?
Sure.
They
They
tied
tied
up
up some, but what I'm getting at is they tied up some, but there are large things that we've all been talking about for a long time that are just like, oh, okay, so that's not a thing then, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I can agree.
And so I'm just supposed to suspend it all and be like, oh, okay, so none of that was connected.
Like we predicted, like we all had an idea that of course Cersei was going to die, but would you say this was a satisfying death? Absolutely not.
Oh, I have a great angle. I have a great angle as to why it is satisfying.
Okay. I can't wait for us to get to that. Yes.
The thing is, it shouldn't be a conversation of, I can tell you why it's okay that they did that.
Right.
Like, why was it fine for you? Is it like, I don't think I was ever going to get a satisfying death from Cersei. There wasn't going to be anything that made me go, now that's how that bitch died. However,
torturous.
Yeah, there's nothing enough. Like
you wanted something more slick,
right? So I'm not even like fine that the way that they died. Like it pisses me off, but more about Jaime, way less about Cersei. So whatever. Like that whole thing, I'm not even going to be mad about it. However, if you felt the same, like you wanted something else, but you didn't get it, I think it's like, unless you really liked that scene, I don't know why you want to go with an angle of why it would work.
Right.
Well, no, I just something dawned on me, and I read something else as I'm wanting to do before we even do podcast, and it just made me think of it in a different way. Because even when it happened, I told you I read the live tweets after. As soon as it happened, I was like, okay, not what I wanted, but I did one of those okay. But then I had to start diving into it, like what that was about. So let's keep rolling.
Okay, so the next part is Elena's revenge. We want to think about something that's going to come back and bite someone in the ass from this episode. And I can name about 7. Castro, let's start with you.
All right. I'll put everyone underestimating Dany's justified rage as well as her irrational anger. To me, King's Landing was anger. Like, I think we jumped to the Mad Queen part, and I said, what if there's something in between? Like, just the angry queen, these things just piling up on her, and she's having this reaction. And then I said, King's Landing was anger, but post-John rejection, that was rage. I didn't know that would be her reaction to John rejecting her, but this is like the third time now. And it's like a woman scorned, and not in the traditional, typical, stereotypical portrayals, but just like a relationship, shit hurts, and they cut your friend's head off, and she's in that tower. I'm burning everybody, and also not just being alone by all her advisors and stuff dying. The people don't love her, which I didn't realize how different that was from Essos. I started thinking about it. Marine, even freeing people, nobody loved her here. You know, she got no
Nobody
love.
had the opportunity to either, though.
You're right.
This angle of like, I'm so sad because I don't have people. She wasn't doing anything to get people either. So I'm not here for that whole idea.
They gave you the stupid little thing for Gendry.
Well, that whole dinner scene. See how you say it? See how you say it? It's not genuine, right? So it's like, okay, so you did that. That's not you trying to get people. That's you trying to get one dude. You know what I mean? In front of a bunch of people.
Noticing that John gets glorified for things that she's been doing. Riding a dragon.
No, John gets glorified. John gets glorified for what he's done. That's what they were celebrating, what John actually accomplished. As far as the people not loving her, like let's really pay attention to that. Name one ruler that we've watched in 8 seasons that the people actually loved, Castro. The people of King's Landing are fickle as hell. They don't care about anyone.
Renly wasn't the king.
Yeah, like they don't care about anyone. They just want to know, what have you done for me lately? And the way she came through, she wasn't acting like a queen. She wasn't acting like she was ready to rule anyone. This is an angry queen. This is a bratty move.
But this is more so like this is her history. This is what her ancestors did, and there was no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Guess who else is Targaryen?
There was no discussion after Nagasaki and Hiroshima.
Guess who else is Targaryen?
There was no more discussion. There was signing papers.
But guess who else is Targaryen, Castro? John.
He's not Targaryen.
So wait. Because here's the thing. They're trying to dial this back to it's her blood and blah, blah, blah. It was weak. It was weak, dog. It really was. It really was. It was just a week. It was a week.
Continue. We got a lot to cover, so we'll get it all out.
Well, aren't we supposed to be covering it right now?
Yeah, we're covering it.
No, we are, but we're going to.
What are you waiting?
Pet Rock. I'm not waiting. Sorry.
Okay, so that was your answer, Dany, right?
Yes.
That was okay.
Well, no, but my answer pretty much is people underestimating Dany's justified rage.
So everybody, basically.
Let's come back. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and we're seeing it. Maybe just in the first 10 minutes of the next episode, but I think, we're seeing it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, more?
I don't know. We'll come. I don't know.
Circle back?
What will come back to... I mean, that's what these episodes are, I guess, is everybody gets destroyed. It doesn't matter if it matters or not.
Morgan. Oh, come on, baby girl.
Nothing even matters anymore. I don't know.
I think that Dany's actions in this episode are going to come and bite her. Because, Arya went through a lot, and she got on her horse, and she went somewhere, and it was just like, the fuck just happened,
Right.
John, I feel... he had a couple moments of staring off. He witnessed one of her men trying to rape someone. So I think John is definitely changed from this.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to bite her. So I think Dany's going to have to deal. And then fucking Tyrion. Whew. I don't know what the fuck that nigga's on.
I feel like if Dany felt like she was alone before, what did she think was about to happen now?
Right.
Now it's just,
now she don't
it doesn't
care.
matter.
Now she's pushing.
See
how frustrating it is to defend it? That's why we're saying it's
so now she doesn't care. So cool. But what do I... No, it doesn't matter if I see it or not. I don't agree with that angle.
Right.
The idea that it was so hurtful, profoundly hurtful to her that she's alone and in all this solitude that she then makes it so that she has no other way to live. But why is that a good angle?
Damn.
I definitely, the first person, again, it's been Tyrion the whole season, but I'm going to take a switch.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to say John. We kind of watched his decision-making bite him in this episode. I think he's now in a position where, like, I still think John's gonna die.
Again?
It's just again.
Really?
This is just. I feel like I'm just watching Ned all over again with these very, very poor decisions. You said something earlier about her justified anger and her justified rage. I think it's one thing to have some type of understanding from the perspective she may be coming from, but if you're in the position now where killing that many innocent people is something you can stick under justified, then that's we're doing somersaults to make this work. That's not justifiable rage. Those people didn't do anything. You know what I'm saying?
Her motivation is more justified than the actual action. I don't agree with it. My mouth was open. I was like stuck, just like all of us were.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I was saying to the screen, I was like, "Oh, don't go that far with it." Like, but you could see. And now I watch it again. When you watch it again, like her building up when she was standing there with Drogon, because at this point, Drogon's so big, he's just taking off her emotions. She's not like kicking him in the side, like go there. Like he's feeling what she's feeling, and she was and I thought she was gonna fly straight to Cersei and blow up, and then she just started lighting the thing up, and I just was like stuck. I was like, oh my god, I can't believe she went. I said it out loud. I can't believe she went this far.
Yeah.
But I see why the show did it. But that's one of my grievances. So I'm half agreeing with y'all. One of my grievances is, it was rushed, but I still see why she did it.
Gripes and grievances for the episode. I hated the Jaime Cersei situation. I'm not gonna not hate that. No one's going to be able to make me understand why.
Why?
Because that was 8 years of giving a humongous redemptive arc to someone who clearly did not deserve it. And took me on a journey of don't worry, Jaime's on the way of redeeming himself. This is all a part of the plan. And then he's a total piece of shit at the end of it any fucking way. So no, you're not going to explain to me why he needed to go back to his twin sister's arms to die or any of that shit. Like, I don't care about any of it. None of it. Yep. Cersei was far more connected to her. Cool. Fucking cool. Neat. You should have fucking never left her fucking side then.
What about the fact that Tyrion freed Jaime and, like, specifically sent him to Cersei? Like, do you feel that contributed in any way to understanding that, like, everyone understands that bond, even that third sibling who is like, yo, y'all on some other shit.
I felt like he just wanted his family to live. I didn't even think that Tyrion was worried about them being together. That was like, Cersei, the two of you won't live if you stay here.
I mean, that is the way I took it from their father. But, like, I've always quietly rooted for Jaime and Cersei. Like, I understood it.
What?
Ever since we've been talking about this show.
He always has. Yeah.
I've always kind of like that was okay with me.
Remember, we used to tease him on one incest being bad and the other one being good.
Because I didn't. So to me, to him running back, even though it broke Brienne's heart, that kind of made some sense to me. I knew he was going to do it. He wasn't going to let her die without him trying to save her somewhat. He couldn't sit idly by. That was his unconditional, eternal love.
I think Jaime might have been okay if he hadn't heard the news and Sansa hadn't talked shit to him the way she did. And I think that it became very real that, like, oh, I'm just going to sit here with this other short-haired blonde John while my sister's dying? I can't do that. The other thing with them is, the other week, all right, this is a little bit of a tangent, but it's all going to make sense. So I had a photo shoot to do with another woman. So I started looking up. Shut up. Sure. So I started looking on, like, Pinterest. We had to create, like, a, inspiration board. And so I started looking on Pinterest for, like, 2 people photo shoot, like 2 women, whatever. Mm-hmm. And so I came across twins. And I was like, oh, yeah, perfect. I can look at twins. And all the photos were hella weird and intimate. and I was like, oh shit, twins have some bonds that like I didn't even think. Like I thought I knew, but I didn't know because they were all like they were dating,
Very
but not
comfortable with
dating.
each other.
Yeah, it's like this. It's still like super intimacy. So even like looking past, okay, yes, they're siblings. Yes, they have committed incest with one another. They've had this romantic relationship going for probably most of their life. But also, like, they have this twin bond that even if none of that other stuff was there, would still, like, leave them in this weird, intertangled space with each other. So, like, I feel for me that helped me understand, like, oh, okay, and I think about the twins that I follow on Instagram, like, all of them be on some, like, low-key weird shit. So...
I mean, that's helpful in perspective. The idea that even if they were in love with each other, there would still be that crazy bond. And I'm all for that. I just this wasn't it for me.
Yeah.
This wasn't it.
Yeah.
This wasn't it.
I agree in the way that here it is. Jaime feels like he has to run back and be with Cersei. Tyrion feels as though he has to create that opportunity for him to do so, but these two fools just episode before that struck a deal with Bronn to give him Highgarden as payment for not assassinating them. Like, what are we doing here, guys? What are we doing?
I agree with that.
She literally just tried to kill you. You gave this dude Highgarden or promised him Highgarden, but now you're telling Jaime, let's go, go rescue her and go live your life in Pento.
Live your best life, but make a life for yourself.
And Castro, it didn't. As he was saying it, it sounded so ridiculous. It took me out of the episode. Like for Tyrion to even say it, it's like, who are you trying to sell this craziness? Like, bruh, what?
Two things. Mm-hmm. We're coming to the end. There is a little fourth wall breaking. I admit to it. It is taking it away from us longtime fans. But we're coming to the end where people are starting to see houses disappear at this point, right? Houses are being extinguished. So I think that was a little bit more with the Tyrion, Jaime scene was like, look, go save our sister, we're the last ones left type thing. And here's the other thing that I thought there was a specific irony with the way Cersei died specifically, Jaime kind of in the crossfire of it. The one thing she coveted the most above her children was the Red Keep, was King's Landing, was actually ruling there, serving there, whether the people wanted it there, whether her father believed in it or not. So for King's Landing and the Red Keep to fall on top of her, and for her last child, if you will, to fall on her and kill her and crush her.
Wow.
That was pretty ironic.
Yeah, I saw someone draw that conclusion. The homie Justin, I saw him draw that conclusion on Facebook, and I whomped when I read it. I was like, "That's weak."
And I didn't read. So why is that a whomp? Why is that not a little more legitimate? Because I thought it was more poetic when I thought about it that way.
Nah, it's not more poetic. It's just a little tiny bit. It's poetic enough to work for
and she
some
was freaking
people,
out at the end.
But it's not Game of Thrones. It's not Game of Thrones level poetic. You know what Game of Thrones level poetic is. This is TBS poetic.
Yes.
That's all. That's all.
You know how I wish Cersei would have died? I wish that when the Mountain pushed Qyburn, I wish he would have actually pushed Cersei. Just some random freak kind of like, boop, and you're gone. And you're like, what? This happened? Like, that for me, I think would have done it. Because if Arya would have killed her, it would have been too anticipated and like, and she killed the Night King. If if anyone else if Jaime would have done it, it just like,
Euron
I was kind of waiting for Jaime to do it, but Euron would have,
when she tiptoed past him, wasn't that hilarious though? Wasn't it hilarious when she tiptoed past them?
Hello, yeah.
When she tipped past the mountain and the house when they were facing off. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What if Sandor, when she passed, he just jukes her real quick with his sword?
Same thing. Would have been great.
Yeah. That would have been great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even her dying by wildfire would have been great. But this, like, yeah, they rolled the dice. They're just rolling the dice and just picking.
Pastor, I hear what you're saying. It is the more poetic of the ways we just listed.
This is a romantic medieval show, is it? So in
Oh,
terms
thanks
of
for letting
network,
us know.
it
Thank you.
fits that.
Thanks. You see how you're
Sorry, Mark.
over-explaining? That's the point we keep
Yeah.
trying to make here. Go ahead, MJ.
It wasn't enough. We talk about how they gave characters that weren't even supposed to be on the show these epic deaths, right? And these characters we've been with. These are the main people, and that's how they die. Like, no, it's a womp. And so no matter what, they're the twin bonds and the rubble from King's Landing or the Red Keep, like all of that shit, fine. None of it's gonna be good enough. Womp.
Yeah.
Fucking weak. Super weak.
Did you like
they built that
Clegane?
shit up way too high.
Did you like Clegane Bowl? Did you enjoy that?
Sure.
And
like,
did you enjoy Clegane Bowl?
What are you saying? I feel like you're speaking another language.
Oh,
Did they like what?
Bowl.
He's saying Clegane Bowl.
Clegane Bowl, the mountain versus the house.
Oh.
Did you enjoy that?
Nah,
Did you enjoy that?
Gotcha.
I enjoyed it.
I did. It just lasted a little too long for me. It was like, be done with it. But it was cool. I mean, I feel like that's something we were waiting for all season. I did appreciate the big reveal of his crazy ass face and his Rick Ross chest. I guess old Rick Ross
chest.
Okay.
Old Rick Ross chest.
Bullshit,
Yeah.
But I appreciated that.
I enjoyed Clegane Bowl. I did. That was dope. But yeah, I mean, Jorah's death is what we anticipated, and it was dope. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was predictable he would die defending Dany, and it was done very well. This ain't that. This ain't that. You could add all the poetry to, the symbolism. It just wasn't done well. That was not a cool death.
Well, what about her massacre? Did you like that when she blasted off? Was that done well, or you thought I was overdoing it?
Which massacre?
When she burnt down the fucking.
Wait. We're talking about grievances. Let's reel this in a little bit.
Yeah.
So, Morgs, was that it for your gripes and grievances?
Not even close, but it'll be fine.
Every little stab to my heart, Morg.
I'm sorry. I don't know why you are taking this so personally.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, you are. You're taking.
You
very
didn't write these episodes.
You wrote the episode. Oh my God.
Yeah.
But you are. You sound like you were vested in a way creatively.
Right.
Yeah. No, I think I feel like I'm misdirecting it because I went online and I'm saying the fan service is the other black side of this coin. It's like all these people become experts on our show now. Like everybody has these weird opinions and writing these op-eds and shit. I'm like, where were you? Where you with that, fam?
So is that what you're defending? Is that what's going on here?
I think that's
Jesus Christ.
I think that's what's coming out.
That's interesting.
Always got to stack a
That
fucking
makes
code
sense.
with you.
That is like larger. That's like when you defend Lil Nas X for his fucking country song when you don't fucking care anything about country. It's just like this black man need to be able to make a country song if he wants to. So
that shit was playing down the street for me, and kids were singing it.
I feel you.
So yeah, I think that's what I'm doing tonight.
Yeah, I think you should identify that and move on with that and release some of the emotions.
Yeah.
And maybe even ask yourself a 50th time how you really feel about the episode, because you might just be defending some other shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I will hold the episode up for its technological achievement. And when I first watched it, I was in awe. I did not expect her to do this at all. I thought it was a red herring.
Castro trying to separate the art from the artist.
Well, no, stop it. This is not Chocolate Factory. Excuse me. I saw the tape. I saw the
Kelly listening ass nigga.
No, I saw the VHS tape. I didn't buy a thing after. No, I'm saying I really thought it was a red herring. I thought they were pushing us to this mad queen and she was going to stop short. So when she stopped short, but then you know what else though? I was appreciating her acting. That worked, whether they got us there properly or not. The way her face was changing, she was looking at the red keep, and she was just getting madder and more. That's why I thought Drogon was just feeding off her anger. So I loved all of that in pieces, but as a full like musical set, like no, they dropped a bunch of notes, they rushed us there. I can agree on that.
Okay.
Okay, let's get back to grievances. Morgs, do you have anything that you want to add?
No, I think let's move on. Whoever's next.
Am, hit it.
I had an issue with the dragon assault. We were complaining about the way she handled being attacked in the previous episode, and like she did that she played chicken with Euron only to just pull away, and then for whatever reason this episode she is a stealth bomber and she misses no targets. Like, I feel like had she fought this way even at Winterfell, things would have been different. We've been given the information that all of the walls were lined with scorpions. They had dozens of scorpions. And then not a single one of them made a difference. None of their defenses made any difference. It was like being in like watching a monster movie, and this monster's been killing people the entire film, just unmercilessly. And then the white girl at the end of the film finds some way to drop a car or pin the car against the monster in a garage, and then all of a sudden she has this awesome line at the end, and she's like, "This is for such and such," and she wins. Like, what are we doing?
Okay.
Like, what's happening?
Some would argue that she learned from the past experiences, because she did lose a dragon last episode, and she barely made it through Winterfell. And then some would also say, in addition to that, that she's maybe fueled by, some of the betrayal we were talking about earlier. So would that, make it better for you?
So I thought that was the one thing that I did kind of lean on. I said, she's fueled completely differently here. Like, they're moving like they are just like, this is just animated rage. So that kind of worked for me.
Right, not strategy.
No. I won't do that, because she definitely used strategy. That's the whole point. Let me finish.
Yeah.
She used her own strategy. She took King's Landing with minimal civilian casualties. She blew the gates from the inside. She didn't kill anyone. I watched, pay attention to this. She took out the forces by themselves. By herself, one dragon. She leveled everyone and got them to a standstill where they surrendered. So she used strategy. She definitely did. She didn't give anyone the confidence that she was not going to burn the city down. She wasn't acting like she was paying attention to what Tyrion said. But then she actually did it. She did it the safest way possible. So no, she had it. She had it. It was done. The battle was over. Bells are ringing. People surrendered. It was a wrap. So that level of expertise with just killing the game, I was like, okay, where has this been again? It just feels like we're rushing to this point. This is someone that, been losing dragons left and right and hasn't been making the best decisions in these wars. And all of a sudden now she's Top Gun. Okay, all right, I get it. We have only one episode left, so we got to make her Top Gun now. Cool, great, whatever. So that was my primary grievance that hasn't already been mentioned yet.
I actually took that was one of my only episode, because it was like, okay, so you finally fucking learned. Your dragon blows fire, and you can do it so that the other person can't even touch you before the fire hits them.
Right.
That was a learned moment to me, instead of it being a miraculous, oh, now I know. It was more like you had to lose 2 dragons to learn how to use
to get it right. Gotcha.
That whole person.
Gotcha.
So I was disappointed in the pace and the inconsistency of the pace. I talked about that earlier with how the Hound and Arya were traveling to Winterfell, and in the same time period, Dany and Jon and them made it to from Winterfell to King's Landing, is what I was talking about, with the Hound and Arya. And in the same time period, I confused myself. Yeah, Jon and Dany and them made it to King's Landing, went to Dragonstone,
Right.
made it back to King's Landing, and like I don't know, it just seemed a little inconsistent in the pace. What were you gonna say?
Wait, wasn't it like John and the infantry like 2 days behind? They did do that, but you're right. They were moving faster, but there was like John and Davos were like 2 days behind them. That's why they got ambushed and word got back, right?
Behind Arya and the Hound. Is that what you're saying?
No, John and the infantry, they were walking. So Dany and the ships went by sea, and that's when they got ambushed. So they got there early to Dragonstone, whereas John and them were like a day or something behind.
Well, right. John and Dany and all of them showed up at King's Landing at the gate together. Mm-hmm. So,
Right.
Yes. Yeah, I forgot about that. I'm sorry.
And so I'm saying that Arya and the Hound still weren't at King's Landing at that point.
Right.
And then Dany goes to Storm's End and then comes back to King's Landing, and that's when the Hound and Arya are arriving at King's Landing, pretty much. Like
they're making it right when the gates close.
Period.
And how quickly did Jaime?
Don't forget that.
How quickly did Jaime get?
They're making it right when the gates. Yeah.
And make it right, right, and exactly. And Jaime like,
got there
all of
quick,
it.
fast.
Yeah. But the other gripe I had was, well, obviously I'm frustrated with how they played Dany as like this mad queen and playing into that whole thing. But also, Arya, I feel like Arya had a period of her life where she grew up in King's Landing, where she was running around in the stairwells and the basements and like knew that motherfucker inside and out. And for how confused I felt like she was through all that shit, I was like, Arya, don't you know all the tucks of this city? Like, I mean, maybe she just knew under the castle.
She wasn't at King's Landing that long, though. Like, she was only at King's Landing until Ned was killed.
So she was there for a season?
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, but
I don't know.
got that same feeling.
Like...
I got that same feeling. I thought she would use some of that knowledge when she got lost down there with the Skull Crypts. I thought she was gonna be like, let's go down where it might be safer. I mean, Jaime and Cersei died down there, but
right.
Yeah. All right, moving along, we have Robert Baratheon's Hot Buy. And that is the section where we identify who is just doing the most during this episode, who had the most to do and tried to do it all. So, I didn't finish prepping the section. So let's go with Tyrion, because it looks like in my notes I have Tyrion too. Ab, you go first.
Thank you, Larry. Tyrion is like, I'm a new mom, so I'm like, he that kid, you warned him 4 times, and he's still like, look at you while he fucking touched the shit that you just said, don't fucking touch that shit.
Moving their hands slowly closer and closer.
Slowly stare you dead in the eye, like slightly smiling, like, what you gonna do? I feel like that is exactly what he's doing with Dany. And she, like, clearly tested him. Like, and she called him out in ways that I hadn't even thought about. Like, she was like, so, how did Varys find that out? From you? Cool. Because Sansa told you, right? Okay, cool. And when Sansa told you that, you told Varys first, instead of coming to me, right? Like, I was like, shit, I hadn't even... And why do you think Sansa told you that? Like, it was just, like, very, like, fuck. I hadn't even walked that walk yet.
Right.
Even though, like, on some level I knew it, like, subconsciously in the back, I still hadn't been like, damn, So I feel like she's been very fucking patient with him. And so, on the one hand, Castro, I can't see what you're saying when you're like, she's frustrated, she's, irked, she's full of rage because, like, niggas keep testing her, She has this moment with Tyrion, too, where she's like, look, Tyrion, am I not merciful? Basically, she hit him with the fucking what the fuck movie is that? Okay, it'll come back to me. Anyway, but she's basically being like, what you say, Gladiator. It's Gladiator. It's fucking Joaquin Phoenix and Gladiator. Like, am I not merciful? And that's what she's doing. She's like, my mercy is being seen as weakness when I'm actually being extremely like when it's actually a strength right now. And honestly, she's tapping into that mercy for Tyrion, because Tyrion has been coming back to her time and time again. I know my sister. I know my sister. I know my brother. Like, he just keeps doing that same shit over and fucking over again. And it's like, Tyrion, you need to chill. If you were not ready to, like, play the other side, then you need to go back and sit with your fucking abusive-ass sister and, like, take all of that shit and be there. But, like, don't be fucking teetering back and forth talking about what you know emotionally and what you understand like, and I know that she is you know, motivated by her children and everything she does is for her children and like all that shit. Like, come on, Tyrion, like, you're just doing too much. You are thinking about like Cersei and how to accommodate Cersei instead of like how to fucking take over the city just as it was any other city, you know. And then treating Dany like, you know, please don't be crazy. Please don't. When your fucking sister is insane. She's nuts. She's nuts.
Right.
And has been. So, like, Tyrion, constantly, you're doing the most. Now she told you about Jaime. Why do you think she told you about Jaime? Because she wants to see what the fuck you about to do. You think those guards just walked off just because you, like, scared them? You know what I mean? Because you were like, I outthink whoever told you to stand here. No, motherfucker. They walked off because they was fucking told that she was going to come and tell them to fucking walk off.
Right.
That's what the fuck they did. So, like, all of this bullshit that you're doing, thinking that you're getting Davos involved, all of that, like, everything. Then you're going to stitch on Varys. Like, he's just a fucking hot mess. Like, he's the definition of a hot mess.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So, I'm just going to keep it rolling. Mine. Tyrion.
Yep.
When you hear the bells, rock the bells, my bells, stop the attack. When you hear the bells, ring my bell.
Oh, my God. Yes, that was the other thing. He said bells like 20 times.
So if she really just snapped, it was because he said bells 20 times. And when she heard the bells, that was number 21. And it reminded her of some childhood memory.
He said bells, and John looked at him like, nigga, you
bells,
bells.
ring
like,
my bell.
And then it was hilarious today, too, when I was going to do the recap, and I was like, what's the name of this episode? And it was called The Bells. I was like, oh, okay, I'm done.
But he was really doing the most, and he was walking around stunned. Oh, man. Like, the funny thing and the sad thing is there's no redemption really for Tyrion. So not for us long-time viewers. He's falling down the well, and he's not climbing back up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was mine. That was my pick. Damn.
You can skip me because it's definitely Tyrion for every reason you guys have already said. Tyrion has just been he's not been weighing these things. I want to how do I put this? It's not complicated. He just hasn't been paying the fuck attention. He just hasn't. He really hasn't. And for him to consistently wipe Cersei's slate clean in order for him to feel good about, you know, risking it all to save her, it's just ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. It's kind of weird that we viewed him so long to be this super wise and really on point dude throughout the entire season. Like, I mean, series. Like, he's just been a step ahead and working, knowing how to finesse, knowing how to talk to Dany. It's like it's almost like he forgot every lesson he learned with how to talk to Dany and what makes her work.
That's Martin's writing, subverting expectations. He does it to us all the time. Like, even if we're disappointed, he does it to us all the time. Like, we have, you know, Tyrion's been on a roller coaster. He comes back around, falls back down. It comes back around a little, falls back down.
But that's just
He's been doing that since we met him.
I don't think it's a roller coaster as much as it is like it's just been a steady plummet. And with the decisions that he's making, he's not learning anything. You know, the lower and lower he just keeps getting, and the decisions become dumber and dumber. Like, You mentioned the last episode. He's even drinking more. You know, we can we can lean on that a little bit.
We can break it down to all of the
it's a couple
compounds.
different things, but for me it's it's definitely Tyrion. Yeah,
so we need to ring his bell.
Doing the absolute most, more than anybody, for real.
All right. Next section is Hagar's slang editorial, and to the best of anyone's memory, quote 1 to 3 of the best lines of the episode. So, Em, you got a quote? Favorite quote in this horrible episode. Favorite quote.
Favorite quote would be my favorite quote would be Arya saying "Thank you" to the Hound. That would be my favorite quote.
Calling Sandor.
Yes, I wouldn't. Yeah. I didn't expect her to get it. I didn't. I was surprised by how quickly she got it. Probably because I feel like he's tried to school her, time and time again, here and there throughout the relationship. But there was something about this particular moment when she got it, and I was okay with her learning that lesson quickly. But that would be my favorite when she said thank you, and then was like, all right, okay, because her heart was set on it. She's been talking about killing Cersei since she was aware of who Cersei was. She was there for the beheading, like. She's been wanting to kill Cersei for a long time. Period.
But Sandor, he assessed the situation like this place is falling down on top of her, and as much as a ninja and a faceless assassin, you're still small, and a piece of rock could fall on you, as it almost did when she ran out to the courtyard.
Yeah.
So I thought he was like, look at me. He said, look at me. I've been obsessed with revenge my whole life.
Right.
You've just been on this journey for about 3 years.
Right.
You don't want to be like me.
You don't want to end up like me.
I thought that was good to wake up.
Yeah,
that was nice. Ash?
Yeah, so I don't know the exact quote, but basically Dany and John were having that weird auntie moment. And Dany, basically when John broke away from her, and then she looked at him and was like, you choose fear, you know?
Fine.
And I know that you guys are on polar opposites, but for someone who sits in the middle in this episode, you could use that to kind of like rationalize what comes afterwards, right? Because she's like, people don't love me the way that they love you. Mm-hmm. And like, how do we move forward, or like what is this, or what's happening? And he's like, but I love you. And they kiss, he pulls away, and she's like, you choosing fear. So everyone's going to choose fear. Mm-hmm. And I'm about to show y'all what really the fuck is.
Right.
Right. And so that was, for me, that was like a dope moment, a dope quote, because only after that do you see like what she's really meaning. And not to mention, Dany was looking about as crazy and downtrodden as she did when Drogo died.
Yeah.
We
haven't seen her look like that in a long, long time. So it was like, okay, she is on her at the bottom, for her, and where she operates, like she's at her bottom. And it opened with Varys trying to poison her and talking to the girl like, well, is she eating? Is she like, she's not eating? She's refusing any food.
We'll try again later.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, Dany is like at her wit's end, and she's at that moment where she's like, you fuck with me or nah. And as a woman, when you're in that space and you like, okay, cool. Mm-hmm. You choose fear. That, you know what I mean? You really mean what the fuck you say after that.
Yeah.
And she did.
Bear with me. Let me be a Neanderthal, but is this not a moment where a girl would snap and smash somebody's window? Like when you're.
Oh no!
I mean, they didn't sell it so well.
No. This is where she calls and gets your bills cut off. This is very, very calm, and I'm moving forward with purpose.
Yeah, guys, I really wish Morgan was here to help me out with this one.
Because
what are y'all talking about? What type of of women do y'all?
No. Just hear me out. Hear me out.
I'm talking about.
Hear me out.
Walk away.
Hear me out.
And
Hear me out.
like, fuck you then.
No.
Okay, this is what I'm talking about.
But
I don't know about all this like sneak manipulative shit that y'all talk about with windows and bills.
You gotta speak on it.
This is what I'm saying. This is why I'm saying that.
Third level.
This is why I'm saying that, because one of the other quotes from the episode that just hit me was her Dracarys. Look at how she acted after that moment. Like, Afro, you were 100% on.
Oh, how
at
cold
that moment,
she was.
right? At that moment, it was a switch. Yeah. Oh, I'm calm. I'm cool. I'm not fucking with none of y'all. So when she talked to Varys, it was very calm, chill. Listen, I'm the breaker of chains. Boom, 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 boom. Dracarys, the calmest Dracarys ever. Like, all emotion out of it.
Here's what I think about that. Mm-hmm. I think that is the first time she has had to announce herself ever since Missandei. So she said who she was, and I think that really was like the
that she had to do it herself.
Mm-hmm.
She had to do it herself. Oh shoot, I didn't think about it like that. I didn't think.
As soon as she said it, I was like, oh shit, this is usually where Missandei goes on for breaker of chains, mother of dragons, da 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 da. And she fucking said that shit and was like, Dracarys. And then, so think about Missandei, and then think you about to say Dracarys to your one dragon left.
Mm-hmm.
And then think on top of that the reason that you in this whole fucking shit is because of Jon, who is now acting like he can't even fucking kiss you.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But
that's why I'm saying it's so strategic. Like, as mad as she was at Jon, she ain't fucked Jon up. She allowed him to stand next to her while she did that. Like, it was on some more, look what's about to happen to your mans. You can get this shit too.
Look what you did. Look what you did.
Right.
I'm
like,
it's another part in that scene.
This ain't.
When Tyrion touches Varys, y'all seen how Varys looked down at his hand?
Right.
Did y'all notice that?
Yeah.
That's the first time he's ever been touched. When they right before they executed Varys, and Tyrion like touched him and he said goodbye, my friend, and he looked at his hand kind of strange. That's the first time Varys has ever been touched.
Well, since he was made to a unit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So that probably was like arresting to him. No physical contact, that type of thing. And they were really friends. So that was the scene for me. My quote was the same as Av's. All right, then, let it be fair. And I think she made the decision right then. I think she was more laser focused. She didn't have advisors all whispering in her ear. And I still contend back to not just Jorah, but Varys didn't sell me. That's something I think the show made a big mistake on. Getting rid of him, he's still alive in the books. She would have done a lot of things differently if he was still alive.
Yeah.
I will always say that.
Yeah.
Some of these military moves and stuff, she wouldn't have done half of this stuff. And he kept like, and he was, he's the one that ratted out on Jorah.
Yeah.
Oh no, you got to roll. So
yeah, Selmy was on point. Selmy was super on point.
All right, what would we give to get our direwolves back? Oh, poor Ghost with his missing ear. What was an emotional high point, a low point for y'all with the episode?
Emotional low point for me was watching her lay waste to King's Landing. It just, like, every time they cut, like, we were watching what was happening to people on the ground, but every time they cut to her and Drogon laying fire, I just kept saying over and over again, like, no, why are you still doing this? Like, what? Like, chill out. You can stop now. It's not too late for you to stop. And then she just kept going and was like, yo, you're bugging. Like, that was definitely an emotional low point for me. I don't think I had an emotional high point in this.
I had a high point.
What was it?
My high point was watching the fucking Golden Company go down in one swoop. I all this shit about Golden Company. Oh, Golden Company gonna come through. Oh, I'm paying for them. Oh, I got that. Oh, I got them on lot. Oh, all this shit, and they just like whoop, gone. That was a high point for me.
Dunsky.
I like I guess it was a high point, low point, because again I was a little speechless. Was the sheer, like Am said, the capable of such atrocities, quote unquote, mode of Dany. It left me breathless. Like, I didn't even know what to say. I because when she started it, I was like, oh, at first I thought she was flying straight to the Red Keep to go like straight, like targeting Cersei. And when she started blowing up people, I was like, oh no. And it just kept going and going. And then I got, wrapped up in what Arya was doing, but they would go back to her and it kept going, and they had the Hound in the mountain and she was flying over them. They always made sure they flying over, more fire, more fire. Oh, you know what I like the touch of? She also lit up the wildfire caches. Did y'all notice that? The green fire going off in different places. That was a nice attention to detail. So yeah, that was my moment. Any more for anybody? I related to.
I like the wildfire too. I wish that let me slow down. I wish they wouldn't have made Dany go off so crazy and actually just let the wildfire be the thing that actually burns certain in the town.
Right.
Like that for me would have been great. I'm like, okay, Dany set like a couple buildings on fire, and then the town blew up because there's wildfire every fucking where.
Right.
And Tyrion knows where those are. He could have
knows those caches.
He could have like this one. He could have popped it right there. And
he still wouldn't have did that though, because Tyrion's whole thing was ring the bell. So that is what I had down as a low point is Tyrion and his damn bell. Tyrion bringing Sir Davos in on his bullshit and bringing Jaime. And
I was going to ask y'all about that. Do you think there was more to him asking Davos to do something, or was just getting the dinghy for them to escape?
I think it was just that.
There was something else?
I think it was just that.
Okay. Wondering.
Yeah, I agree.
All right.
I also I wasn't fucking with the Euron and Jaime moment so much. I mean, when I said to Drew, I was like, what is why is this happening? What is happening and why is it happening as they were fighting? And he was like, because Euron's a fucking asshole. And I was like, okay, I guess that makes sense, right? You run into Euron, you're Jaime, and you're like, yo, let's go free. We got to get our girl, and Euron's like, yeah, I fucking smashed that shit the other night. Fuck that. Ain't no saving her. And then I guess you do just like start fighting him like he's an asshole. He's not going to just let you walk away. But I could have gone without that.
Yeah.
It was random that he's going to wash up right where Jaime's and Jaime's frantically trying to get inside the castle and trying to.
And Jaime's like trying to beat Euron. Like Euron's a fucking pirate, and Jaime's supposed to be one of the best swords in King's Landing, even with his fucking right hand fucked up. I'm like, yo, why don't you bitch slap him with that fucking metal hand you got or some shit? Like
that's what
He hit him once with it. I was like, ooh, do it again.
He hit him once, but way too late in the game.
Yeah, way too late.
I said it 10 times. Hit him with your hand. Hit him with your hand. Hit him with your hand. I kept saying, hit him with your hand, because at least that's going to give you the advantage. It's like gold or whatever. But
no coming back from
that. That was great.
Yeah.
That wasn't necessarily earned. That moment. I thought Euron was gonna die when his ship got blown up. That would have been enough for me.
Me too. That was kind of bullshit too. Like, oh, you're the only one that made it off this ship. Oh, awesome.
Did y'all think there was too many Dothraki riders that survived the Battle of Winterfell when it was all said and done?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, there was way too many Dothraki at King's Landing. We watched them get murked. We watched maybe.
We saw their lights go out.
Yeah, we saw the lights, but we saw them come back, and not a lot of them came back. Very few came back. All of a sudden, it's a ton of them.
The horses would come back, though. There would be more horses because there are animals, and they would run back.
Of course,
if it gets really tight.
Yeah.
All right. I was thinking about that because when I saw them scattered at first, I was like, okay, this seems about right. It was like 3 here, 4 there, but then when they charged on the Golden Company, it seemed like there was a whole line of them. So, okay. Craster's Airbnb.
Oh, I got 2 for this.
What was your favorite scene or location during this episode? Af, you go first.
So, one was the stairwell where Gregor and Sandor were fighting.
Yeah, that was gorgeous.
Yeah, I thought it was great, and especially as like the wall was falling down, and you were able to like.
Well, watch the behind the scenes, Af, when you get a chance. Yeah, watch it. That's it.
So that was one. The second was, this was always one of my favorite rooms, was that like indoor outdoor area where there's like a map
The
of
map,
King's Landing
yeah.
on
Oh, the
the
map.
floor.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like always been so beautiful to me, and Cersei has talked mad shit on that floor.
Yeah.
So to see that shit falling apart and her kind of like, trying to get across it, running like, what the fuck is going on? Like, that was great. I thought it was beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. That was great. Am? You got a favorite scene?
Yeah, my favorite location was actually the room that Cersei was watching everything happen from. When she first walked up to that,
nice.
when she first walked up to that window, the designs on the bars on each side of the window had the logo of the 7, but it was like 7 within 7. It was really, really dope, and I caught it immediately. I was like, "Yo, that is ill as shit." And just the way they framed that scene, huh?
Is that the same balcony when she blew up the Scepter Bailey? That's the same one that she watched.
I think so. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they definitely they did something else with the window this time. Like it's the same room, but the way they redid it and framed it was completely different, and it just jumped out, and it was like, yo, this is ill. But that was hands down, that's my favorite location. Second location would be what Afro already said, on the steps, because that shit was beautiful.
Yeah.
The lighting and the flames and all of that, like that was just it was like, okay. The last episode was super dark, this one's super bright. Yeah.
They did mention that in some of the behind the scenes, how this was all day fight.
Yeah.
And it showed like the brutality of war. Like people's hands were getting cut off and faces were getting bashed in amongst all
kids
the
were getting killed. So it was wild.
Yeah, with the detail.
No, I didn't watch that shit where Gregor, the Mountain pushed the Hounds. I was tapped out. There's certain things I just
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like that was rough, but he came back from that, but that was tough.
Yeah, it was rough.
Also, on a separate note, you guys can edit this out. Do you guys watch Legion? Is anyone watching Legion?
I'm like,
yes.
Castro's been watching. I'm only like maybe 6 episodes in, but the show is beautiful.
Yes.
The show's dope as hell.
My God, it's lit. Like, we should do something. We gotta cover that.
Definitely. Yeah, Legion is
okay. Dope. So I had two. I actually love the Jaime and Cersei scene. I remember those caverns with the skulls back in the day when Arya was lost in there, and she was running away from Varys, talking to was that like that was the guy that he smuggled them to in Essos.
Right.
I can't. And so when I didn't think it would be closed off, so I just thought it was beautiful for that to be their tomb. So I like that scene, and I also loved Arya's last scene because it reminded me of this Bible quote, and it says, "And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with." So, like, not saying she was like an embodiment of death, but I believe that more so like that type of movement, seeing this white horse that kind of survived, rather than Bran sending the horse, and the way it was lit, it was a really nice scene. Y'all, I gotta watch that again.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm just gonna rewind to Jaime and Cersei. You thought that was a beautiful shot? Like that was your favorite location?
I liked how they set it all up with the light bleeding through and the way it was falling on them. I like that.
Interesting.
That was cool. Okay. I'm moving right along. Y'all niggas seen that, Raven? He had mad little scrolls rolled up. Like I was talking to Zilla about it. He's like, well, how many messages? I said he was writing his hand away.
He was getting it cracking.
Little cinnamon roll. He was going. So prediction.
So do we think he got any out?
I think he did.
I think he got
I think he got a bunch out.
15, yeah. He was sending them all night. When the girl came back and checked on him, he was sending them since then. And then when they finally came and got him, it seemed like that was later that night. And he burnt that last one. So predictions. One more episode left, y'all. There's only one episode left.
Yeah.
Oh, God. So one prediction I have is that I'm not going to be satisfied. I think that's partially because of the way things have played out, and then partially because of the way that the story is being told now and moving along, and then also just because I've invested in this for so long. Like, I just don't want it to be over. For example, I never watched the last season of Breaking Bad. Like, I couldn't
ready.
do it. So I still, to this day, have not seen the last season of Breaking Bad because I just couldn't deal. I just couldn't. So
incredible. See, incredible.
I feel like I'm not ready. So that's my one prediction. Then we were just talking about those Ravens. I do think those Ravens are going to come and bite somebody in the ass. I think that John is now thinking, like, yo, even if I don't want to do this job, I could probably still do it better than her, just like the rest of mediocre white men who are like, I don't really, and not to say that John is mediocre, but just mediocre in your caring about something. You know what I mean? Like, you could go either way. Like, I don't fucking care, whatever. But then something happens that makes them like want to put their foot on the pedal and be like, oh, actually, you know, this is my shit now. I should do this. You know, the realm deserves me. Everyone deserves this. Blah blah blah.
Right. You're right, Af. He turned. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. What'd you say?
You're right. He turned a blind eye to the bad decisions that she was making because he didn't want to do the job. Just because he didn't want to do it. That's it. Like, it was like,
because he didn't want to do the job, but also because he needed her. It was like, we gotta fight these fucking dead motherfuckers.
But even after that, I was speaking more so after that. You know what I'm saying? He continued to just allow her to make bad decisions.
Yeah. I think it's. I'm with you having the dissatisfaction on this one thing alone, y'all. To go from Robert when we started this and to possibly end with John, I'm not satisfied with that. I don't think that was transcendent enough for this arc that we've been on. Like, even if it was going to be like,
hope for Sansa.
Yeah,
I still
that's
think
who I'm holding out for. That's part of my my prediction. I think that we're looking at Sansa and possibly Arya by her side, you know, running shit. I do think those Ravens got out and word is spread. I also think that Sansa is going to be on the offensive. She knows that they got beef. You know what I mean? She knows now. So something has to be done, whether, you know, she communicates with Arya and they do it. It's like something has to happen where Sansa, in my opinion, where Sansa and Arya pretty much handle this shit. For real. Yeah. I would not be satisfied.
Where's the capital now? Is it Winterfell?
No, the capital's still where it is. It just burnt the fuck down. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's still there. Because we saw in the trailer for the next episode, she's still there. She's got all her forces lined up. You know, she's pretending as if she has a city to rule at this point. Like, you've literally turned the entire town to ashes. And great, congratulations. The way they handle this, they basically stole, and I guess maybe that's pure Game of Thrones, delivery. But they basically stole the joy out of us watching Dany win. We've been rooting for her for seasons.
Yeah.
The way this happened, it was just like, oh, we don't want you up here. Like, nah.
But that's
you proved everyone right. That's terrible.
That's what Martin's
proved everybody
doing to
right. Yeah.
All right.
Then there was a thing where, you know, like, again, I was watching with Drew, and he was like, so history repeats itself. And I was like, that's an interesting theory.
Yes.
But
yes.
The reason...
Can I say three things?
Go ahead.
3 points. One, two, three.
Wait, no. Can I say 3 things?
No. If they all line up, they all have to do with each other. All right, so history repeats itself, like you said. That's prophetic. Right when we thought the Bells would succeed her anger and she would chill, nope, she blows it all up. Right when we thought when Ned confessed that I am a traitor, they would send him up to the wall, nope, his head gets chopped off. Right when we thought everything was cool, they're eating dinner, what happens? They start stabbing a pregnant woman in her belly. This is pit and parcel for Martin. Now the execution by Benioff Weiss, we were always questioning that. But this is Martin. Like if George R. R. Martin wrote this for us, or the books were done, we would kind of just take it. But this is part of the theme. He's been doing this to us.
Honestly,
that's all I'm saying.
Honestly, it's too predictable. So if the books would have turned out with her becoming mad, I wouldn't have liked it, because that's all everyone has ever said the entire time. So no, it's way too predictable. It's way too predictable.
Well, see
for
what type
it
of
to be a
match
payoff. It's just like nah. Her
we still
proving
have to see
everyone
what type of
wrong,
match-
huh?
We still have to see what type of match it will be. Like,
I think we kind of
you
saw
know,
that
notice
already.
the preview didn't show. Well, no, notice the preview didn't show her face or her talking. But we don't know, is she going to be that psycho calm that we seen with
she did
killing Varys?
Castro. She killed what looks like 80% of that city. These are people that had never even met her. She has no qualms with these people. She killed these people in front of Cersei like Cersei gives a fuck about these people. We've seen Mad. All she had to do was fly directly to the Red Keep and take Cersei out. She's lost. Like Zilla said it in one of the actually on our Instagram posts. They gave us to her all these seasons, and then gave us 15 minutes worth of motivation, and all of a sudden she's insane.
Yeah.
Like, nah, dude. No, absolutely not. No. And then, like, it was 0 to 600. There was absolutely no reason. None. Nah.
Well, I have another prediction that I think Jon is going to take one of the dragons, since he's the only person who can ride it, or the last dragon, and ride off and start a Red Cross for King's Landing.
He's got the glove.
Him and Arya together looked really concerned, so maybe they'll do that. Morgan has a prediction that she texted us.
Okay.
And she says, my prediction is, and I quote, nothing even matters. So,
wow.
That is
right.
where she's. But I agree with that. What she was saying, Zilla said they gave us 8 seasons of riding for her, and then 15 minutes worth of screen time of being like, oh, yep, she's crazy.
Yeah. Guess what, guys?
And then a whole episode of her burning down all of King's Landing.
Is there any way to root for her moving forward? Is there any way to root for her?
No. See, here's the thing. There's, even if they try to give us some understanding for, and they did. They tried to give us some understanding via Tyrion as to Cersei's motivations. She's always thinking about her family and blah, blah, blah. It doesn't excuse the murderation she's done for seasons.
Murderation?
Yeah.
Like, is that like hateration?
Yeah.
It's similar.
No dancing.
It's definitely more dance. Yeah, like, bruh, like, the Citadel, her blowing, like, Cersei has done the worst shit, and now, Dany has done. She's right up there with Cersei. She's no different. So no, there's no redemption for her. There is none.
Wow,
but there is.
I disagree.
Okay.
There is. Go ahead.
I think there's redemption. I mean, I think she's not. I mean, she burned up a hotel. I don't really know what. I'm just a Dany fan.
I know.
So I'm gonna still like low key ride for her, even though like I don't think it was the best idea. But Cersei's made some bad decisions too.
Right.
And sometimes you have to be who you are not to show people who you are, and that is how I'm the show.
That's nice. We ain't ending the show, yo, because I still ain't do my damn prediction.
She hit us with the poetry. Go ahead.
But no,
it was not poetry. It was poetic.
She tried.
Okay, but it was not
You
poetry.
tried to hit us with the spoken word. Sometimes you have to be who you are not to be who you are.
Yeah.
I left my funk in my right thigh and my jazz in my left, and I left my pointy in my chest. Whatever. Two things. Two things. What she's done though is now it is history. Sam's gonna write about this. Like this
Is
event.
known. Oh, Sam. So Sam's gone, right? Like that's it.
Yeah. This is going to be written about. This is going to be, a big part of the lore of this arc of her burning.
I mean, clearly the whole
wait.
town burned down. Like, did you see how big it was?
Guys.
Yeah, I did see that. They so scared.
Guys.
Wait. Well, let me get my little prediction out because he didn't come up. He wasn't in the episode.
Right.
Pet Rock, better known as Bran.
Bran's gonna be back and he's gonna blow your mind.
He better ward into Drogon and burn he and Dany alive, or I'm timing the whole show away. If Bran,
look how quickly you throw the show away.
Look at that. Well, looky here.
That's my line in the sand. If he doesn't ward into Drogon and burn him and Dany alive, like self-sacrifice and burn themselves.
What? That is interesting.
He has to. What is he doing? He's popping willies. What is he doing?
Popping willies.
He's in the future. He told you he don't really stay
in the
present
chilling,
like that no more. He's not in that part of town no more.
Then somebody need to roll him down the hill so he can get there faster.
Guys.
I'm done.
Guys.
Yes.
What do you guys think about Dany launching an attack on Winterfell to take out her last remaining enemies? Like, what business does she?
No, and fly to Winterfell. They're hurt. They're recovering, and blow them up.
This is what I'm saying.
I don't know.
They've already put her in Mad Queen mode.
Great.
They've put her in Mad Queen mode.
Like, I made Winterfell. I fucking made y'all.
Because remember, what Sansa wanted was for the North to remain the North. The last people in opposition to her are the Northerners, who she no longer gives a fuck about. Wait, give me a second. Who she no longer gives a fuck about and would put her in direct opposition to Jon, which she doesn't give a fuck about him either.
We're forgetting about Dorne and all the other houses. Remember they streamlined
Castro. None of that's been in play. None of that has been in play this whole season. The only people left that are in opposition to her are Northerners. That's it. Jon, Sansa, Arya.
I think
those are her only enemies left.
She's gonna want her to bend the knee. Remember, I said she didn't bend the knee when she met her.
She's gonna want who to bend the knee?
Sansa.
Sansa's not bending no knee.
And she knows Sansa's not bending the knee, so she's coming to kill her. That's what I'm saying. She's not gonna she's not gonna play the games Tyrion plays, having meetings about meetings. She's past that now. She's past that, D. She burned a whole town of innocents.
You see her flying and
I'm kind of confused. I feel like you want her to do this. It sounds like you want this in your voice. You just went off on her.
Yeah, I'm saying that. If that happens, that's going to make a fucking delicious-ass episode. That's how you end that shit. Like, she has no other enemies left. Like, what else is going to be in this episode if it's not them going at it? And I really feel like it's quicker and makes more sense for her to go at them because she can get there in no time. She took the whole town out by herself. She can go to King. She can go to Winterfell.
You think she can fire on Jon?
I think she don't. We've already seen that she don't give a fuck about Jon. The way she laid waste to that city with her troops in it, she don't give a fuck about nobody, bro. There was no communication to Jon and Grey Worm. Hey, pull back. I'm about to lay the city to waste.
It was really.
She cares about Grey Worm. She gives a fuck about him.
Yeah, but she left him in harm's way.
The preview.
I think Grey Worm knew what the plan was. I think Grey Worm is probably the only person who knew what was actually going to go down.
Him knowing it though, like we've watched scenes with fire right around them, like anything could have happened to either one of them. I'm saying it didn't seem like it was a protective move at all.
I do also feel like Grey Worm don't give a fuck now because he lost Missandei. Nope. So he's like, I will fuck. I'm here to fucking die.
Yeah, he snapped.
They said he's the angel of death now. He's the angel of death now as he rolling through. They said the preview was really thin, so we don't know what's gonna happen next episode. So that's what I asked when we started the review.
And it was much shorter.
Does anybody have any?
And we knew now we know what they went through to keep Missandei out of the shot of her on the top of King's Landing. So we know they ain't giving us shit in the preview. So you can just.
So what do y'all think is gonna happen? Like I know we did predictions, but like, you have any idea? I don't have any idea what's gonna happen. I'm at a loss.
The fact that all those troops were assembled at the bottom, I feel like it's an attack. She's gearing up for an attack. There's no one else coming at her. She's got to go. She's got to launch the assault herself. She's not standing there to rebuild the city.
I don't know. You don't feel like Arya's coming at her? You don't feel like?
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be another big battle. I think something else.
No, not another big battle. No, I agree.
But I don't know what's gonna happen. They really have me at an impasse. Like I can't really even predict. Like, all right, next episode. And think about this, y'all. There's only 5 main characters left. Everybody's.
Oh my God, we always counting some shit down.
It's to remember to honor the fallen. 5 main characters. Everybody else is dead. Or 6. Because I don't count Pet Rock. But,
Terrible.
You don't respect Bran.
when he does something. When is he gonna do something? Is he gonna do something? Can y'all predict that?
He made sure Arya had the cat's paw. Like that wasn't enough.
And that's it. He don't even play like wheelchair basketball. Like he's
oh my God! First of all, he has a very high tech wheelchair for that time period.
Yep. And does.
I mean, a wheelchair period. I don't even think it's high tech. I think other niggas really just don't have wheelchairs.
Real shit.
I think it was design. It wasn't some design from his uncle. Like
no, not his uncle.
Yeah, it was another ruler. Yeah.
It was a Targaryen.
Yeah, it was a Targaryen.
Oh, some Targaryen he looked up. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
well,
I mean,
I
don't know what's gonna happen.
Like, epilogue.
I mean, I would have never been able to tell you that this shit that just happened
was gonna happen. Right. I just don't see Dany sitting still for any reason when she has enemies out there. I just don't see her waiting
Danny's
for
worked up. Like, let me tell y'all, if I go to the gym at 7 a.m., I'm fucking worked up. She just burned a whole fucking town. She has got to be hype.
Yeah.
She's like,
yeah. She on one.
Yeah. She's like playing hip hop on her way home, like blasting music on her dragon.
Yep. She is on one right now.
I don't know, y'all. The Mad Queen with 2 D's. Tell them why you mad, son. Tell them why you mad.
That's exactly what she's listening to Jay-Z.
John Blaze. My shit more John Blaze than Jon Snow. My shit more John Blaze than Jon Snow. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, she's freestyling. She's fucking pointing her finger in the air. On her dragon rapping.
Like John can't. Like, what does that conversation look like? Them face to face. John is in direct opposition to what she just did, and she knows it. She knows it.
And John don't even know how to really articulate shit like that. So
exactly.
I feel like that's a loss too. He just
Well, how can they fight though? Him with a sword and her with a dragon. Like, how are they gonna fight? She gonna get off the dragon and fight him? She's not doing that.
Right.
She's not gonna fight him.
No,
I mean, who does she fight? What the fuck are you even talking about? She don't fight.
She burned.
The only time we saw her fight was when she had to with Jorah back to back. And
exactly.
If Jorah wasn't behind her, she probably wouldn't have fought.
Right. All she do was cook niggas, B. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
We're getting more Drogon work. She has tons of Unsullied left. We're getting more of that work. It's gonna go down in this next joint. But I definitely see her dying.
I mean, what you think is gonna happen, Castro? You got a prediction?
I'm really like this episode threw me. So it's like, other than Bran doing something, I don't know what could happen. I don't know.
They better pay off with Bran, man. They better give us something really fucking good with Bran.
Yo, could you imagine?
Will he know that his brother and sister are dead? Like, what is, you know what I'm saying? What is he gonna know? He's alone now too.
Yeah.
Tyrion, is he gonna know his brother and sister are dead? He's alone now too. Varys is dead.
Yeah, that's the part for me too. That what I didn't like about their death downstairs. It's like, no, I need some fucking certainty. Like, I would have headed straight to the Red Keep if I was her. Like, bitch, you dying.
Right.
So that I know you said you ain't fucking popping up like some soap opera later.
Right.
I don't want none of that.
Yeah. I doubt they make anybody pop up.
Nah.
I hope not.
No.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either, but you know what I'm saying. I just wanted that bitch, like, if I were her and making all the trouble of burning down a whole town, but not burning down the one person I actually came there for.
Right.
Well, there's something about her wanting to keep the Iron Throne intact, to actually sit on it, because that's where Cersei kind of was. That balcony.
She could have did that.
Yeah. Keep tripping.
I feel like there's levels of Dracarys.
There are. There definitely are.
Because that was the other thing with Varys was like, there's like 50 niggas standing around Varys right now. How is he the only
But
thing
Drogon
that
got
burned
mad
up
close.
just now?
Nah, Pete, Drogon got mad close to him. He did. Like, he went over top of them. Yeah, he was mad close.
So that's all I'm saying is,
It's
you know,
levels.
she could have burned Cersei without burning the whole fucking Red Keep or the throne.
Yeah. She didn't even do a flyby.
Well, she definitely had. She had Drogon on automatic. It was not on semi-automatic.
Yeah. Street sweeping. Yeah.
Exactly.
Mad
All right, guys, I made it.
Yeah.
You did. Did we didn't we get some questions from the internet, from the interwebs?
No, we didn't. We got some responses. We definitely got some responses and some of the predictions. People, 2 people commented and thought that Jaime was going to kill Cersei. Yeah.
Yes, we all.
When they hugged on the map room, did anybody think he was going to choke her right then?
I thought he was going to shank her.
Okay.
I was like, oh my God, he about to shank you.
I was.
But then when you hugged,
y'all saw it in the live tweets. I was hoping that was Arya. I was like, is this Jaime or is this Arya Jaime?
Yeah.
Who is this? What's happening right now? I was hoping it was Arya.
I thought Qyburn could have been Arya when Qyburn was coming back the second time to tell her that.
Oh yeah, Drew said that too.
Right.
I thought.
So that's another. That's another payoff we're not getting. We're looking for this faceless man move from Arya to do something major.
And that's not happening.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, maybe it will. Maybe it will.
Sandor and her.
I mean, we haven't gotten that since what, Walter Frey?
Yeah.
So that's a little while back.
Is that not worth more? The moment with her and Sandor, is that not worth more than another faceless man move?
It's a great moment.
For me, I don't know.
I don't think it's a trade-off, but it's a great it's a great moment. Definitely a great moment.
Okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, well, our most controversial
no, it was
and
not worth
catalog.
more. I'm sorry. Go on.
Say it again, Ev.
It wasn't worth more to me. I had to think about that for a second. It wasn't.
Okay.
You talking about Sandor telling her, go
Yes.
home, basically. No.
Yeah.
Not worth more than a faceless man. No.
Right. So
To close their arcs, the one of our most beloved arcs, that wasn't worth more.
Yeah.
Okay.
So shout out.
Fucking, I would have been cool with their arc being closed when he was like, I'm not coming back. And she was like, neither am I. And I was like, all right, cool. And y'all just took a road trip together? Bet. You know what I mean?
Right.
No, I didn't. I feel like that faceless man shit catches you so off guard. Think of the moment where somebody is dying and she rips her fucking face off. That is excitement, shock,
Yeah.
surprise. I think it's all these things at once.
It delivers
Him being
every
like,
time.
go home.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. Again, he cares for her. Sweet.
Right. I want to give a shout out to Ryan Black, commenting on our questions that we posed this week. He was like, yeah, so dragons were definitely used. We were asking about, when she didn't use the dragons to her full advantage. But yeah, she definitely used the dragon to her full advantage on this episode. Certainly. And Natasha Smith was the one that responded to our question. So did Jaime leave Cersei to kill her or to save her? And she was like, kill her. So a lot of us did think that he was going to kill her. But
he did kill her. Except their death. He calmed her down and said, just look at me, it's just me and you. We're accepting this.
So that's see how you had to extract that in order to make it him killing her.
Yeah.
That's bad writing.
Searching.
That's a reach. That's a reach.
Searching.
Yeah.
Searching.
So Afro, I will encourage you. I will encourage you to watch the last season of Breaking Bad because it ends really, really dope. Unlike the last episode of Sons of Anarchy. Wait, the last episode of Anarchy and the last episode of Penny Dreadful. Those two those are very disappointing. And this season is, moving in that direction.
Last 3 episodes of Penny Dreadful, and the last 3 episodes of Penny Dreadful.
The last one was the absolute worst thing that's ever happened to a show. It was just bad.
No, the Strain. Last 2 seasons of The Strain was woo. Y'all don't know. Me and him went through that.
Well, I mean, when you say that the last 2 seasons were bad, then you just kind of say the show wasn't really that good. we just don't want to talk about it. You got to leave it alone.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, if it's 2 seasons that are bad, we got to let the whole show go. But yeah, when you
seasons, right?
Yeah, exactly. 2 out of the 3 seasons were bad. So yeah, I know you got a little anxiety about it, but Breaking Bad does end well. Yeah, I think you'll like it.
Okay, thank you. I mean, I've heard that.
Yeah,
but it's about time to let it go. You're right. I should just.
But also, Game of Thrones is also one of the greatest shows of our lifetime.
Definitely.
1 more episode left, so I hope everybody cherishes it, watches it with open minds, eyes, and ears. And the podcast with no name is going to, I left my Iron Throne, up in the Red Keep. Y'all heard the song before? Rewind it and listen to the song. Play it for your kids. And we'll see y'all next week.
All right, y'all.
Peace.
Excellent. You're still here. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of A Podcast Has No Name. If this is your first time checking us out, please subscribe. We are available on Google Play, Apple Music, Spotify, and pretty much everywhere else you listen to podcasts. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Podcast Has No Name. Deuces.
Subscribe, please. Click and comment.